What's going on, guys? Bengal again here, coming back at you with another video, another off-season per usual. I do stream these on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bengal. The link is always down in the description. And we're actually getting dangerously close to 100,000 followers on Twitch, which is unbelievable to me. And I do want to start streaming more often with other games and things of that nature. So the intro, I read the chat. Oh, God, why do I do that? Not the intro. This is the intro. The link is down in the description, and we got about 3,000 people in here right now watching, so I really do appreciate everyone for being here, and if you're watching it on YouTube, I appreciate you as well. The support on the series has been amazing so far. Chat's roasting me, of course, for my mistake. Listen, it's rare, so I understand coming at me. I get it, right? I get it. But there are, there's some misconceptions I want to address first. It feels like a theme in the chat, or in the comments section, I should say, on YouTube, is that this season is basically one of the final seasons that we're going to see in the series. No. The team is far from, complete. I wanted to say far from elite, but it is trending that way. But we certainly have some big needs. I think, with Tyrone Williams regressing down to a 74 now, and in his contract year, receiver's a big need. Yeah, Richie Owens played well for a rookie. At the end of the day, he's a 77 overall receiver with good speed and good slot ability, but we still have a big need at the receiver position. Chris Godwin's played well, but he's not an explosive type playmaker most of the time. He's kind of like a chain mover, and yeah, I do need to work on seeing him when he's open and getting him the football. There are things where I can certainly improve on, right? And Rashad Reese, you could say, does kind of play as a receiver a lot of the time. And he was so good. I know, I force feed him the ball or whatever. I just don't see a problem getting the football to the best overall playmaker. And I think we utilize him really, really well. And our offense moves at its best when Rashad Reese is the focal point. So that's just kind of where I am on that. But I am potentially looking to upgrade at receiver at some point. And yeah, Alex Soto, there's a lot surrounding him and his future on the team. He's been sidelined basically for 2 years now. Did play a bit his rookie year, but almost not at all in year 2. Yeah, I recognize the value of him as a trade piece. He's still a valuable backup. I'm not really in a position where I feel like we are forced to trade him. If he would be getting traded at any point, it would probably be in season 4, right? Where his rookie contract would be coming to an end. I know everyone wants to see Soto play, just the number 1 overall player in that draft, and he's been relegated to backup. But Paul Garrison has certainly taken a step up and played a lot better, and I've gotten better as well. He's now a superstar X Factor, and he threw for almost 5,500 yards and 46 touchdowns. So he is continuing to improve and get better, and even though the interceptions were higher in 2023, the touchdowns were also higher. So I think you'll take that passer rating overall for performance. The yards are a lot higher. I think I did play better, and especially played better the second half of the season. But Paul Garrison is the guy, right? So that's the offense. We have some question marks on the O-line just because Jonah Jackson and Tyrell Crosby have expiring contracts. We do have Darren Fox and Jamie Aldridge in behind that could potentially take those places. And then defensively, the team is very far from complete. It really is. Our defense has played great at times, but Romeo Okwara continues to be one of those fringe guys where what's his future with the team? He's a 79 overall, 29 years old. He's good, but he's not great. He's not great, and he's not going to be getting any better. Anthony Walker Jr. is certainly far from perfect, so we could look to improve at inside linebacker, and that's where we have maybe Brian Davis bulking up in the offseason, but I probably wouldn't feel comfortable making him any more than 215. So not really the answer at inside linebacker, in my opinion. And then Richard Russell, who did bulk up a little bit over the course of the season at 220, is still undersized for the position as a whole, and he's more, I think, like a dime linebacker, right? Somebody that can come in sub packages and play, but I don't know if he's really what I want as an every down inside linebacker. He's good, but I don't really know what his future is going to be as a starter. So inside linebacker is something I'm looking at, and then especially edge, because Aquara can be replaced, and Deshaun Hand's really good. He's not an edge rusher per se, like at all. He's only an 81 overall, 28 years old now, and he is on the verge of not getting any better. So there are things that I'm constantly thinking about how to upgrade this team, and it's in the front seven, even if it's not on the interior of the defensive line, and it's at receiver and potentially offensive line as well. So there are some places where I think we can certainly improve, and we have some tough decisions to make with player negotiations here. DeAndre Swift is a free agent. Romeo Okwara, who I just talked about, is a free agent. There's a growing trade Jeff Okudah narrative, like he isn't amazing when he comes into play in a slot role. There's no reason to trade Jeff Okudah, but we might not even be able to hold on to him as he's going to be a free agent. Tyrell Crosby's in here. Anthony Walker Jr.'s in here. Jonah Jackson's in here. Quintez Cephas, who's played well at times. And, of course, some starters that we've seen for a while, and Tracy Walker, Alex Anzalone, who didn't start last year, Andrew Soro, who's like kind of a cult favorite, Jason Verrett, who we signed midseason, Logan Stenberg, who had to play, I think, for like a few snaps because of injury. But let's start. Let's start with the one guy I certainly want back no matter what, and that's Jeff Okudah. I want it to be a long-term deal. I think he's super important for the long-term future of this team, especially if we're going to play a lot of nickel. And we need 3 good corners. We need Jeff Okudah. And we saw how bad the team was when Jason Verrett had to play a lot. When Amani Oruwariye went down, he got torched. So having multiple good corners is really, really important. Jonah Jackson's up next. With his age, his development trait, I think he can be the future of the interior on the offensive line. He does get injured a lot. He gets injured a lot, but this is not really that big of a contract for a player that is good when he plays, and we have good depth already. So Jonah Jackson returns. That's big. We're going to let Tyrell Crosby walk. We're going to let Anthony Walker Jr. Anthony Walker away. That was terrible. Romeo Okwara. Romeo Okwara is going to walk as well. I really don't have any interest in bringing him back at his price. We'll look at it, but probably not going to bring him back. As for DeAndre Swift, he's 25. The contract to me doesn't really seem to be too bad. 38 over 5. He is only 25. Is now up to Superstar X Factor. I'm going to give DeAndre Swift a payday. And he is back. Now, that's a $40 million contract over 5 years, but I'm comfortable paying that. We have a really good 1-2 punch in the backfield, and it doesn't work the same way when DeAndre Swift doesn't play, the same way it doesn't work as well when Rashad Reese doesn't play. They have their roles, and we've been effective in that role. There's no reason not to want to bring him back. Romeo Okwara, he's not worth 24, probably even 25 million to keep him over 3. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't make sense to me. So Okwara, listen, he was kind of a big staple of this franchise in my opinion. And he had a decent career with us. But this is unfortunately where we have to make the tough decisions and say goodbye. Say, hey, you're regressing. You're a 79 overall at 29. You're just not in the long-term future of this team. And then Ian Thomas played really well. I just don't know if I'm comfortable offering him a contract at $3.5 million per year, essentially. I don't really want to do that, especially when he doesn't offer anything in the run game. So we're probably going to let Ian Thomas walk as well. John Pinacini is asking for too much money. I wanted to keep him. I think we have something good here with the block shed, with the strength, with the tackle. Like, he's a good backup or third nose tackle to have, but how often does that even check out? Pinacini never really gets in. Never really sees the field. So for that price tag, I'm out. Andrew Soro, you know, he is a cult favorite. He's actually got really high hit power. I had no idea. High motor. I want to keep Andrew Soro. I do. I know I always complain when he gets on the field. He's really not asking for that much money. If he can be good on special teams, I'm comfortable bringing him back. I don't know why $1 million's not an option. But Andrew Soro returns. The Colt favorite, Colt hero, Andrew Soro. The rest, we're going to let go. The new look team would have Eric Hudson starting at left outside linebacker. Eric Hudson played very, very, very well. Very well. Way too well, you might say. 8.5 sacks, and he barely even saw the field. Unbelievable. Unbelievable performance for Eric Hudson, really. It really was. Inside linebacker still a need. My hot take is that Eric Hudson can play inside linebacker. He's really more built for that position at 6'1", 227. And he really doesn't have the best power or finesse moves. The coverage isn't bad. I think if worse comes to worse, Eric Hudson could be a starting inside linebacker. And I think we'd be fine with that. I think we'd be fine with that. But as an every down outside linebacker, every down pass rusher, I don't know. It's something to think about. But we definitely need some more edge help because we have Levi Onwuzurike, who's a defensive end, who's really a defensive tackle, playing outside linebacker right now. We gotta do better than that. Cornerback, I think, is fine with Ife Atu-Melifonwu, Kendall Sheffield, in behind Okuda, Ford, and Awura Warrior. It's a good group, but we do need more depth. And wouldn't hurt to add a safety. Wouldn't hurt to add another offensive lineman. Wouldn't hurt to get another tight end. We definitely need a third tight end. Absolutely. And receiver is also a potential position of need. Tyrone Williams may end up being a cap casualty. We would save 5.28 by cutting him. The penalty would only be 2.52. And he's down to a 74 overall. He's still decent. And I'm not sure we need the money. Because we have 68 mil, but if we need to, Tyrell might be cut. The free agents are as follows. Derrick Henry, Justin Tucker, Jonathan Taylor. We don't really need any running backs. A lot of kickers, but we don't need a kicker. Darius Slay's in here. CJ Henderson. Javon Kinlaw. We don't really need the position, in my opinion. We need a tight end. Nick Boyle would actually be a really good fit. It's a tight end that can block, and block really, really well. 77 run block. I mean, Nick Boyle, I know it's not a flashy move. This is probably my biggest priority signing at the moment. Just because he offers something that we don't currently have. Harrison Bryant might not be the worst option in the world. Not really the best blocker, but offers us something in the receiving game. Foster Moreau is not too bad either. Not really a great blocker. What about Tyler Higbee? Got good hands. Can I see what his trucking is? 73. Does have some really good traits, though. Aggressive catch, possession catch, run after catch, fights for yards. Tyler Higbee might not be a bad guy to go after. We're going to offer on both those guys. Now, a backup offensive lineman would be nice. Charles Leno, we might be able to get for cheap as a vet. So we'll offer him. I'm offering just really small contracts right now. Because these are backups. These are backups. And we're going to try and steal one or two. There's Tyrell Crosby, generating significant interest. David DeCastro could even start, but I wouldn't do that. I want Cameron Clark. Is he a Charlotte guy? He is a Charlotte guy. Could be the new beast out of Charlotte. Remember Larry Ogunjobi? Still around. Playing actually real well this year. Backup right tackle, I believe we're fine. Now, we need more depth. Zach Allen wouldn't be the worst. Let's look at him. I liked him a lot at BC. Power moves, block shed. They're not that bad. They're not that bad. He would be a little bit of a stretch to get into my defense. BJ Hill would be a better fit. BJ Hill would be a better fit. He's got some good traits too. Let's go after BJ Hill. And this would be, listen, we would add another meme player with BJ. So I'm in on that. D tackle. I think we're fine. Right end, I think we're fine. But I might... Ooh, I'm losing both the Aquara brothers. They're going to split up. Has to happen. We only have one inside linebacker on the active roster. I mean, I see a couple former Lions in here. Jared Davis, Jelani Tavai, Anthony Walker Jr. now. It's just chock full of former Lions. We just don't... I mean, even Trey Flowers. Could we bring Trey Flowers back? He's still decent. He's still decent. For the price, if we can even lower this, Trey Flowers would be a really good signing. Considering there's no interest on him right now. And then maybe even... Mac Wilson probably isn't going to be very high at inside linebacker, but he's a player I like. I think there is some stuff here like with Mac Wilson. Cornerback, I think we're fine. Safety, I think we're fine. And we have our special teams guys. So those are the guys I'm going to offer on in free agency. Not a lot of high-end guys, but that's not really what we need right now, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And let's do some scouting. Of course, we do have the old scouting, as this class is not new. And this is what the draft class looks like. So we've talked about some of these players along the course of the year, and it doesn't appear to be an overwhelmingly stacked draft class, but it is good for the positions that we need it to be good in. And that's inside linebacker. In particular, maybe a Tyrone Wilbur. Ran 4.48 at 6'3", 236. Tyrone Wilbur can get after it. We know that about him. Big time speed. Only 21 years old. Really quick, really strong. Good top skills. Let's go ahead and look at Tyrone Wilbur, the linebacker out of Florida. Big time playmaker. He intercepted an option pitch there against Mississippi State, which features some pretty good players in the class as well, by the way. They're importing maybe the best quarterback in the entire draft. And that's, of course, Tim Bentley. Tim Bentley out of Mississippi State. They also have one of the best running backs in Taj Higgins. Early first rounder, ran 4.46. Only 21 years old as well. Of course, playing in that game. And running back probably isn't a position I would look to get, especially not after re-signing DeAndre Swift. But Taj Higgins is someone to look at. Quentin Bramble is somebody to look at. 5'11", 210, ran 4.44. It's really good. Maybe something there at J.P. Harris in terms of overall combine ability. I mean, he's a really good athlete. Ran sub 4.5, real strong. Amazing broad jump that really usually would indicate explosiveness. What do we want to scout, though, position-wise? Outside linebacker, I think we've taken care of. Middle linebacker, I think we know about a lot of these guys. Left outside linebacker. Nick Waddle is someone I'm keeping my eye on. Didn't run that well, but he's going to be a good player. Early first-rounder. D-tackle. Maybe it's a bigger need than I thought. Really good athlete in Sherrod Cochran. Nick Knighton, same deal. Marcus Parks, A- power moves. Not too bad there. But I really think I am looking defense more than anything. We'll have to see, though. We'll have to see. There's some pretty good interior offensive linemen in this class as well. Like, if you look at center, 2 guys out of Oregon, Max Olson, and then even better than him, Jeff Goldberg. Really, really good. And maybe even Max Olson's better. I thought one was an early first rounder. Both mid-first round guys. Maybe Max Olson's better. And that's really good value in the third. We currently don't have a first round pick, by the way. Currently do not have a first round pick. 2 seconds, a third, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh. So we would have to move up if we want any of the top players in the class. Something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. Good receivers, too. We have David Moss. Dwight Cook. Ran real well. Mike Hargrove. There's some good receivers. 4.31 for Cam Beckham. At 6'1", 175. Someone to keep an eye on. It's an interesting class. Let's just see what we're getting with the quarterbacks. Ooh, Niall Sheldon. He looks real good. Late first round guy in the third. He dropped. He was supposed to be a first round guy. So that's really interesting. Didn't really look at the safeties too much. It's not really a position I'm heavily thinking about, but multiple first round guys in here. Duke Dahlman being the best. Reminds me a lot of Tim Taylor in the last draft class, except he's taller. J.D. Keltner looks real good too. 4.4 flat. UCLA safety teammate of B.J. Dickerson last year. That looks like a really, really good player. B+ zone coverage at 4.4 flat speed. That's a player to watch in round 2. And then Orlando Beachum. They told us to look at. Corners haven't really done a whole lot in there, but Tyrell Hazleton looks real good. Ran 4.29. See, we don't need safety. But if you're moving positions, if you see a guy like this as a slot corner, which they clearly have the speed to play that position, that's when you think about drafting a player like that. And that linebacker, Forrest Johnson, other than being a bit slow, looks great, early first rounder. But Tyrone Wilbur is the guy I really have my eye on. That would be a player trading up for, worth trading up for. But maybe the best player in the draft, by the way, Clyde Baggs is right in the conversation out of Bama. And Eric Stokes, late first round guy, B+ finesse moves though. Another guy I'm looking out for. Let's go ahead and simulate the week, see what we get in free agency. And every contract was accepted. So we got our backup offensive lineman in Clark and Leno. We have a younger player in Cameron Clark and a veteran in Charles Leno. We got BJ Hill as good depth. And then we got 2 big tight ends. We have more of a pass catcher in Tyler Higbee and more of a run blocker in Nick Boyle. So big upgrade to the offense in my opinion. We get kind of 2 different types of tight ends, and then we have our main guy in TJ Hawkinson. I actually like that quite a bit. Scouting here, is there really an edge rusher that we're going to be able to take a shot at here that we really want? We're not going to have a shot to get Nick Waddle. There's just no way. We're not really, I don't think, going to have a shot at Clyde Baggs, and he doesn't really fit the team, in my opinion. Eric Stokes doesn't really fit the team. We would have to make a real big push to trade up and get Waddle if we want a new big-time edge rusher. It might be Eric Hudson. That might be what it is. Eric Hudson might have to start, which is not really something I was ready for, but it's not something I hate because he's good. Wow, and we also got Trey Flowers and Mac Wilson. So that actually makes the defense a lot more interesting. We might have a position battle for that starting left outside linebacker spot between Eric Hudson and former Lion Trey Flowers. Free agency recap. Let's see what our division rivals did. I think that's always the big thing. Taylor Lewan remains unsigned, by the way. Kind of surprised about that. But the league signings, Derrick Henry to the Miami Dolphins, Justin Tucker to Seattle. The Jets got Jonathan Taylor. Don't really need to know too much about the punters and kickers. Jarvis Landry to the Cardinals, James Bradbury to Chicago. So we're going to see him once a year, twice a year maybe if he stays healthy. Darius Slay to Buffalo, CJ Henderson to the Steelers. Javon Kinlaw is headed to a division rival. We'll see him twice a year with the Vikings. Demario Davis, Giants finally got a good linebacker. That's how I know it's a video game. Any big signings within our division? Other than that, Romeo Okwara is headed to the Rams. I say that because he's a former Lion. We'll show him some love. Who else? Anyone of note? Tyrell Crosby to Baltimore. And I think, Anthony Walker is headed from Detroit to our direct rival, the Chicago Bears. Okay, Anthony Walker Revenge Tour. We're going to run right over you. Can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait. Jelani Tavai to Seattle, although he hasn't been on the team for a bit. All right, that's pretty much free agency. Not a huge free agent class, but it is about NFL draft time. Here we go. Big time stuff. Season 3 coming to a close with the biggest moment of all. We're going to pause the draft. I don't know. The biggest decision right now is whether to move up in the draft for a player like Nick Waddle. I don't think we're going to be able to get in position to. Eric Stokes, David Moss looks really good. That's a crazy vertical jump at 6'3". Oh my goodness. 42 inches nearly. This guy can jump out of the room, out of the building. Crazy spectacular catch. David Moss is good. Cam Beckham is real interesting too. 4.31 speed at 6'1". Tyrone Wilbur at number 25. Big target as well. We don't pick for a while. It would take a lot to move up. Let's go ahead and see who the Texans take at number 1. And they do take the corner, Tyrell Hazleton, 82 overall. Yeah, I mean, when you have A- man coverage and you run 4.29, I don't think that's a huge surprise to see his overall as high as it is. Tyrell Hazleton out of Wake Forest, one of the highest overall players I have ever seen in the draft. 82 overall is unbelievable, and he is an incredibly talented player, clearly. As you see, the beautiful speed on display in the back pedal, and maybe not the best ball skills if you can take something away from him, but here he's going to make a big interception in the end zone, taking the football away from DJ Uiagalelei and the Clemson Tigers. Tyrell Hazleton. When is the last time we've seen a corner go at number 1 overall? I can't even name one. I can't name one if it's ever happened. So clearly a very good player. And I think we're probably going to see Nick Waddle go at number 2. If I had to bet, and that's exactly who goes. 78 overall is still inside the top 10. Nick Waddle, linebacker out of the Ohio State University. Again, clearly another really, really good player. If you're getting a 78 overall in the class, like it's obviously a really, really good player. And this was a game wrecker at Ohio State. Clearly somebody that would be all around the football making plays. Doesn't get credit for the touchdown here as Haskell Garrett gets into the end zone. But Nick Waddle made it all happen with the pressure on the quarterback. Got him to cough up the football. And it would have been a really nice pairing with our current Ohio State defensive line beast in Dorian Tompkins. but there was really no play to get up and get a player like this. Really, really good, really talented, and there's a reason he's going at number 2 overall. Bears at number 3, of course, a division rival of ours. Could they take a quarterback over Justin Fields in Tim Bentley at a Mississippi State? It seems like the most likely option right now for Chicago. Are we going to be seeing a new quarterback the next time we play them? I think there's a really good chance that happens. Chicago goes with the quarterback Tim Bentley out of Mississippi State. Wow. I didn't come into the draft thinking that this would be a team that would take a quarterback, but the first QB off the board is Tim Bentley, and maybe the only one we see in the entire first round. Now, Justin Fields could still play. He could still play, but Tim Bentley appears to be the new number 1, at least quarterback of the future going forward. However, when you look at the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields is an 85 overall. 82, but playing up with morale. Superstar development, only 25. And they draft a quarterback. He's not going to play. He's not going to play. What is Chicago doing? What is Chicago doing? Carolina at number 4. They take the first offensive lineman, Devin Brown, out of Wisconsin. He's not too bad. He's not too bad. Guard at number 4, though, you'd want a little bit better. And there goes Jonathan Wolfe. Only a 69 overall. You know what was interesting about Jonathan Wolfe at UCF at Central Florida? He played alongside another really, really good player that's in this draft class, and Eric Stokes. But Jonathan Wolfe cannot wrap up. Cannot wrap up. Yeah, he has the ability maybe to get to the quarterback, and that's disruptive in its own way, right? But if you're not finishing all these plays, there's a value to getting after the QB, don't get me wrong, right? But if you can't finish and make that sack, I don't know. It really makes you wonder if he's really worth a top 5 pick, or if this is not just another Marcus Smith situation. Remember the Louisville outside linebacker pass rush that the Eagles took a number of years ago now? Denver at number 6 goes with a receiver. Was this not the same team that took a receiver last year, Damon Davis out of Oklahoma? Now they're going with another Oklahoma receiver. This one, of course, playing for the Cowboys instead of the Sooners at Oklahoma State. Keyshawn Milstead. First receiver is off the board. Kind of reminds me a lot of Tylan Wallace. I don't know, maybe that number 9 has something to do with it. But he's not a bad player. He's not a game changer, game-breaking player at this moment. Only a 74 overall. It isn't bad, but it isn't great. It isn't great at number 6 overall is what I'm trying to say, right? That's like drafting maybe a Mike Williams type player, where Mike Williams is good, right? But would you take Mike Williams again at number 5 overall, knowing what he did his first couple years? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. He's been great recently, but it is going to be maybe a little bit of time before Keyshawn Milstead can really get going. And of course, that depth trait's going to be super important. Raiders at number 7 go with a Florida outside linebacker. That's Noah Alexander, 72 overall. He made some big-time plays in the Florida-Mississippi State game. We saw that earlier, including some huge ones in the 4th quarter. Jump on in here. Big sack on Tim Bentley, of course, the first quarterback off the board. And, certainly not a bad player by any means, but I'm not sure the value is here at number 7 overall. Clearly a pass rusher that's good, but is he a pass rusher that's great? That's the question you have to ask, and that's the question that we're going to maybe find out in a few years with the Raiders here, who have not exactly drafted all that well with their top picks in recent years. Yeah, and that's not to say that I haven't got some good ones, especially later down the board. Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs most recently. But is Noah Alexander yet another draft miss for a Raiders team that Seems to be doing that quite frequently. First middle linebacker off the board's Forrest Johnson out of Stanford. He's a 77 overall. And when you don't run very well, in the same way that he didn't, your technical and fundamental abilities have to be off the charts. Have to be off the chart. So, I don't know. You're not getting an unbelievable athlete, but you're getting a really, really solid, fundamentally sound player, and certainly at a position of need for the Rams. They're keeping him in state. The Stanford Cardinal player ends up as an LA Ram. And the Rams have done a lot to get better over the past couple years, and usually they don't really have these top-end picks. This might be the first-round pick spent by the Rams since they took Jared Goff at number 1 overall. That might be true. That might be true. And now the Ravens at number 9 go with Brendan Johnson, a receiver out of Michigan. Another weapon for Lamar Jackson, perhaps. And the last pick at the top 10 by the New York Giants is David Moss. He went earlier than I expected, and he is pretty good. 76 overall receiver. The Giants draft another Texas player in the first round for the first time since Aaron Ross in 2007. David Moss, opposite side of the ball, and a pretty good player at that. Game-breaking type player. Jump out the gym type players we talked about earlier. Also, pretty decent speed on him. Not a burner per se, but low 4.5, you can move pretty well. And especially if he's going to go up and high point the ball. Get him in the red zone. Get him jump ball opportunities. Could certainly end up being very, very good. You see a 99-yard play there for the Longhorns. That's how you know this is a video game. Good Lord, they suck. I hate this team. I'm a Texas fan, as many of you know. They're getting destroyed by Kansas right now. Give me a break. Oh, but also, it's the NFL draft. That game doesn't exist, because here's David Moss. Nah, he's pretty good, though. Was certainly at least considering a trade up for him. I thought the Giants were going to take Eric Stokes there, personally. I thought that was the move, but they opt to go a different direction. Tennessee at number 11. Goes with Ron Huggins out of Washington. Taking a corner. Trying to rebuild that secondary. Cardinals at 12. Take Nick Knighton. Thought that might have been a spot for Eric Stokes. But the first defensive tackle's off the board in 76 overall. Nick Knighton. He definitely seems to be pretty good. And, you know, first defensive tackle off the board for a reason. Arizona beefing up those trenches. And he can certainly get after the quarterback. Pretty good in run defense as well, obviously. I mean, anytime you take Isaiah Simmons' number, you better be able to do the most. And, yeah, at D-tackle, you want someone that can both play the pass and the run. That's when you get those first-round caliber defensive tackles, when they can do the most, when they can do it all. And this is very clearly a good player for Arizona. As we get to the Dolphins at 13. Yeah, I am considering a move up here for Stokes. It's going to end up being a reach, but I don't care about a reach. I don't care what it says. I care about the type of player that we're adding. Is he better than Eric Hudson, though? That's the thing. Let's see what Miami's up to. Oh, yeah, they brought in Derrick Henry. Would they take a defensive end here? They might. They might. Let's see. What would this cost? They're looking for a right tackle, a center, a left outside linebacker, and a strong safety. Well, I don't really want to trade any of my players, is the thing. See, the interesting thing with Eric Hudson is we'd basically be drafting his replacement. I can't trade him, man. He's too good. Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker could be on the move. And now we have Jamie Aldridge to back him up. Taylor Decker sucks anyway. Okay, it's starting to move the needle a bit. Yeah, good call on the game volume. I don't know that we can get this done. It would have to be Taylor Decker and like a first next year. Well, what if? Because that's valued like a 7. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do a swap. We're gonna do a swap with Miami. Might have to be a future 3. Might have to be a current 3, which I would be comfortable with. All right, that is a huge trade. Taylor Decker is out in Detroit. We are trading our first-round pick next year to make this happen. However, it's being valued at number 7 overall. It won't be at number 7. Obviously, if you've been watching this franchise, I think at this point you expect the team to make it back into the playoffs. It's not going to be number 7 overall. We are also trading number 56 this year, our second-round pick. We are recouping number 13 overall and their first-round pick next year. So we have Miami's first-round pick. It's a first-round pick swap. So it's basically Taylor Decker and a 2 this year for number 13 is essentially how that works out. Now, the thing with Eric Stokes is we already know, because of the old scouting, I guess you guys can't see it here, we already know that his overall is not going to be that good if we were to take Eric Stokes. Oh my goodness, what is that locking onto? I can't freaking move my camera. We already know his overall is not going to be all that high. He's a late first rounder. He's going to be probably like a 74, 75 overall. But he may have a hidden development trait. We know he has B+ finesse moves. I'm not sure he's fast enough to play outside linebacker. And we have Eric Hudson. How much better is he than Eric Hudson? He's a year younger. He might be the same overall, and he might have a better development trait. And he's not going to be as good of an athlete. I kind of don't think that he fits the team that great, I'm going to be honest. So at this spot, I'm going to take Tyrone Wilbur. 6'3", 236. He's only 21 years old, and this is the linebacker that we've been looking for. We thought we had it with Braxton Turner last year, and we're getting him a really, really good teammate. I really, really like what we have in Richard Russell. I think he is a sub-package player. I don't think he's a starter. I think Tyrone Wilbur is a starting inside linebacker. He ran sub 4.5. He's real strong. He's got great top skills. He's tall. He's young. He can do it all. And we're teaming him up with former teammate at Florida, Eric Hudson. So we're building up the Ohio State / Florida defense. And I think Tyrone Wilbur is absolutely the call here. I think he's going to be really fast. We already know he's really strong, and he can tackle, and he can chase, and he can hit. Tyrone Wilbur is just, he was always going to be the pick here. And he is a 77 overall, number 8 in the class, star or better development. This is the answer at inside linebacker. This is the Anthony Walker Jr. replacement, and he is pretty good. 89 speed, 89 tackling already. Only 67 block shed with 81 hit power, 88 pursuit, 87 acceleration. Zone coverage really isn't too bad. I think we have a really, really good player here. And again, it was always going to be the pick. It was always going to be the pick here. Eric Stokes, I think, was just... It was too much of a reach at that spot, and it didn't really make as much sense as Tyrone Wilbur does. He's just a better fit for the team. Eric Hudson played so incredibly well in limited snaps last year that sky's the limit for him. And unfortunately, not great traits. No high motor, no pass rush abilities. But that's okay, because he is clearly a very talented player, and maybe not the new face of the defense, right? But certainly a really big part in that. So that's why we're trading up, and I think we get a really good player in Tyrone Wilbur. Cam Beckham, 77 overall receiver, goes to the Patriots next. He ran real fast, 4.3-ish, like really, really fast. Patriots get a good one. And there goes Eric Stokes, 75 overall, defensive end out of UCF. And, I mean, certainly a good player as well. I mean, we knew he'd be around that overall. And he's definitely good. He's definitely good. Now, it's going to hinge on that development trait. And the biggest reason that I didn't want to take Eric Stokes at that draft spot is I don't think he has the athleticism to play left outside linebacker. And that's the difference. I don't really want another Romeo Okwara situation where we have to take our first round pick off the field on like any clear situation where he might have to be in coverage. It just didn't make sense to me. So while I do think it's a good player, I would have been pretty comfortable taking him around this spot. I just don't think he's a great fit for our defense. Just my take on that. Minnesota at 16 goes Cordell Gregory, a 70 overall middle linebacker out of Tennessee. Not quite the linebacker that we got out of the SEC. And now the Packers, another NFC North team picking here. They go Rayquan Cruz, only a 71 overall. Feels like Alabama has one of these linebackers every year. And Rayquan Cruz is just not all that great. And it's great to see our division rivals maybe not pick so well. I'm never going to complain about that. Like, he's all right. He's all right, don't get me wrong, but he's not great. You know, maybe you can develop him. Maybe he's got a good dev trait. That's the thing with dev trait. You just don't know. You just don't know. Because is he a lot better if he has superstar dev? Would you prefer him to somebody that has star? I don't know. Long term, yeah, but short term, no. Saints go Sherrod Cochran. They're keeping the Louisiana boy in Louisiana. The 74 overall D tackle for the Tigers is headed down from Baton Rouge to New Orleans and will join the Saints D line. I like that a lot for them. I like that a lot for them. You can see my or hear my voice going already. These off-season streams really take it out of me. It's just constant talking and projecting. But clearly a pretty good player in that as well. Sherrod Cochran can fly after Bryce Young here. Jets at 19. Take Jalen Garland. Only a 71 overall. Cornerback out of Nevada. Jalen Garland looked pretty good to me. Wasn't quite sure on the overall. It's a little bit lower than I would have expected. He's certainly not bad. Good ball skills, as you can see. But probably not what you want at number 19 overall. A decent player with decent potential. Not a great player. Who knows what he'll end up being? It's really a guessing game. That's what the draft is a lot of the time. Now you have the Colts at 20. They go with Marcus Parks. Starting to see some defensive players go off the board here It was some offense, but the defenders are really the bulk of the first round, I would say, so far, especially in the teens, now into the early 20s. Marcus Parks, another 74 overall defensive lineman, and another pretty good athlete, I might add as well. So, don't hate what the Colts are doing. I think they're pretty good at D-tackle right now with Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. But they decide to keep improving a good thing, maybe making it even better with the addition of a really dominant Big Ten defensive lineman in Marcus Parks. Let's check out the draft board. So we don't really have anyone on the board until Duke Dahlman. There are some good players in there. Jace Watson ran 4.31, pretty good. Duke Dahlman, early first rounder, crazy speed. We know he can play man coverage, has slot corner kind of written all over him. So I like Duke Dahlman. Not going to trade up for a player like that. Taj Higgins is certainly a pretty good running back out of Mississippi State. Not really the biggest need for us right now. Wouldn't make a move up for that. Now, Clyde Baggs has big-time potential here. A power moves. Tested better than Eric Stokes. And we might have a shot to get him if we were to move into the back end of the first round. Clyde Baggs could be quite good. A power moves is pretty solid. He is 23, but that doesn't mean he's bad. I kind of like the look of Mike Hargrove, by the way, too. Late first rounder, I get it. 6'3", good top skills. Ran real well, too. Doesn't look like the most agile. I don't think the route running is going to be too good. But don't hate him as a player. Quentin Bramble looked pretty good, too. Mid-first round running back. Now, we don't pick till 19th in the second round. We would have to move up. J.D. Keltner's probably the guy I'm most interested in right now. Just looks like a really intriguing prospect. Here's a tight end I scouted. Looks okay. Now, if we were going to take that other receiver I just talked about, might as well just take Raphael Wilkinson later. Seemed like the same type of a player. Yeah, but we could find ourselves moving up. The safety would be probably playing slot corner. But we would see. Jace Watson of Seattle. Washington football team takes Tremaine Thompson, another receiver going here. Seeing a bit of a run on these. This one out of USC. The Jags at 23 go Jimmy Madison. First tackle we've seen go. Eagles at 24 go with Brian Craver. 75 overall corner out of Georgia. Kind of was off the radar a little bit. They get him in the first round and get pretty good value there. Higher overall than their first pick, and that was very high. Steelers go Russ Dunn. Ugh. 68 overall left tackle out of Notre Dame. Atlanta goes with Duke Dahlman. 79 overall safety at Oklahoma State. Yeah, he's like that hybrid type player that teams obviously really covet nowadays. He looked really, really good. Just there was no shot we were going to move up for a player like that with our current depth at the position and our current picks. It was just never going to happen for him specifically. But clearly a very good player, can kind of do it all. And Atlanta, you know, this is going to go a long way toward improving their defense, which has not been very great of late. So can't hate on that pick for Atlanta. To get to the 49ers at 27, they go Carlos Amos. 76 overall safety out of Oregon. This is a really talented safety class. And he is certainly no different. This is a really talented draft class, by the way, where 75 overall is a late first rounder. And he might have been late first round at 76 overall. This is a really talented draft class. As we get to the Bengals here at 28. They go with Tyler Beckham as 77 overall running back out of Clemson. I'm telling you, this is a really, really solid draft class. Now, there was an 82, and then I don't think there's going to be an 80, and there might only be 179 in Duke Dahlman. But there are a lot of 77s. There are a lot of 78s. And the Bengals, I guess, get another running back in their backfield with Joe Mixon. Probably not the biggest need for them. But, I mean, he's definitely a decent player. And put on a show at Clemson in this high-powered offense in a world where DJ Uiagalelei is actually good. Surprised that's not real life, but it is not. We'll see what he ends up becoming. But the Clemson offense in real life has played very, very poorly this season. They've been entirely disappointing. But Beckham is an interesting build. I believe he's 6 foot or 6'1", only 189 pounds. He's not someone that you want as your bell cow running back. But for maybe 10 carries a game, he could be a real difference maker for a team. So I really don't hate this for Cincinnati. It's kind of like the Jaguars taking Travis Etienne at the back of the first round. You know, like a lot of people hated on the pick, but you need more than one running back a lot of the time. So I really don't hate it. So comparing a Clemson back to a Clemson back, I don't hate it for Cincinnati. Tampa at 29 goes with Clyde Baggs, a 78 overall right end from Alabama. We were looking at him. The potential was there, but I still feel really comfortable with Eric Hudson based on his play last year. Again, I think it's just a better fit for our team. So really was never going to trade up for Clyde Baggs. He was someone we thought about. Obviously. Think about a lot of different players, but it just probably wasn't going to happen. A real interesting addition would be Dwight Cook. With really good route running, 4.39 speed, crazy agility. Does feel a lot like Rashad Reese, doesn't it? Kind of does. Wouldn't hate getting 2 of those guys. We don't pick for a while. Ooh, don't want to resume the draft there. I want to not do that. I mean, the last thing I need is just missing a pick by accident, just doing the draft show. Look at Clyde Baggs here. Clearly very, very good. And a team like the Bucs, I think he's going to fit really, really well into. But, yeah, I don't think it was a great fit for our team. You need a certain level of athleticism to play outside linebacker in a 3-4. And he wasn't terrible, right? I think we could have shoehorned him and got that done. But it wasn't, in my opinion, worth trading up for when I'm not sure what we'd be able to move up for. As there goes Dwight Cook. They love their LSU receivers unless it's Odell Beckham Jr. Jarvis Landry. I think Odell would still be on this team in Madden here. Jarvis Landry signed with the Cardinals this offseason, we saw. But Dwight Cook, the speedster, goes to the Browns, 78 overall. Cowboys take Sherrod Whitmore. You know, it's rare that you see a Nevada player going in the first round. And we saw 2 of them. The corner and now the running back, Sherrod Whitmore. Good player. You know, we didn't look at the amazing playmaking ability of Dwight Cook. We'll take a look at Sherrod Whitmore, though, because he could end up being a starter for Dallas. Who knows what's going to happen with Ezekiel Elliott long term. But Whitmore can play a little bit. Only a 73 overall, but that really isn't too bad. Sure, he's not going to start right away, but there's a world where he could end up being a starter at some point for Dallas. They love their running backs. And the last pick of the first round will be Kansas City, where they take Scott Carr, a 75 overall strong safety out of Oregon. Texans go with Gordon Pierman, boosting up their O-line out of BC. There's Ethan Nash, 70 overall left guard out of UCLA. Ooh, there goes Taj Higgins to Chicago. As if they need any more running backs there either. 77 overall, though. That is very, very good. He was one half of a really, really good backfield. Taj Higgins, and of course the quarterback that we saw go to the Bears in Tim Bentley. So not only did they take one Mississippi State player in the first round, they take the other Mississippi State presumptive first rounder here in round 2 in Taj Higgins. Okay. I mean, the Bears have a type. Did you go to Mississippi State? Yes. All right. Well, we'll draft you then. So that's a really fun combo. Panthers at 4 in the second take Mike Hargrove. We thought about if it wasn't going to trade up for him. Eagles take Vernon Hodges, a free safety at a Ball State. Not a college you see getting highly drafted every day. And there's another one that you don't see getting drafted highly every day with Richmond and Danny Ryans, an outside linebacker. Rashard Baxter, defensive end out of Florida. Didn't exactly get the hype that, who was it? That, what was his name? I lost it. We played it earlier. Noah Alexander. There we go. Didn't exactly get the hype that Noah Alexander did playing on the D-line. But clearly not too bad, as we see another running back go. Cam Sharpton at a UB. 75 overall. Really not too bad. Ravens take Cortez Pinckney, a corner out of Central Michigan. And the Giants go with Jaquelin Allen, a 68 overall corner out of Florida. That makes sense for the Giants. This is a brutal draft board. Niall Sheldon, by the way, late first round quarterback, was supposed to go first round. I don't know what happened, but he dropped to the third. He's just sitting there. I know you guys would love another quarterback that you can demand that I trade. That'd be everybody's favorite. Tennessee goes with Jeff Goldberg, a 76 overall center out of Oregon. Good player. Cardinals take Quentin Bramble, another running back. We've been seeing a lot of good running backs go, and Quentin Bramble is no exception. Really, really big, powerful back. I think about 6 foot, 210, and he runs with a purpose. And Arizona really has been looking for a good running back. Now, they have had some ones that played well in real life recently. I'm not sure I would add James Conner to that list, although he is a touchdown vulture. But Chase Edmonds has played really well. But they want to do better than that. They want a younger guy that can make all the plays. And you know what? I think they have it. I think they got it in Quentin Bramble. Kind of a fun name. And definitely a fun player. Quentin Bramble to Arizona. Miami, who we traded with on the clock here at 13. Is this a pick we traded away? I don't think so. I think it was later. But they used it to take Quentin Wayne, or Quentin, not to be confused with Quentin, who just went a pick before. Patriots go with James Dubois out of Auburn. Buffalo at 15 takes Joshua Dial, a receiver out of Florida A&M, only a 68 overall. Minnesota goes with Eli Sanford, another running back. And Minnesota has drafted a lot of them in this franchise. Of course, they have Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison. They drafted the Alabama running back in what, season 1? What was the Alabama running back's name? We didn't really see him play because Dalvin Cook exists. But I remember he was a first-round pick. Greg Lockhart. That's right. That's a trivia question for you. No more Alexander Madison, but they get a third-string running back there. Don't really know that draft strategy. The Packers take Eric Newberry, UCLA left tackle. And one pick before we pick again, it's the New Orleans Saints at number 18. And they go Cortez Leslie. That's a pass rusher out of Texas. 72 overall. and really not too bad of a player. Now, the big knock on him is that he is undersized for the position. He is only 6 foot tall. So if you're going to play him as the Saints, I guess, are going to play him at off-ball linebacker as they run a 4-3, I'm not sure if that's the best fit. He is a pass rusher first, but he's only 6 foot. Look at that interception, taking it literally off the ground. Don't even know what's going on there. But Cortez Leslie is the pick of the Saints. And we are back on the board here in the second round at number 19. Let's go ahead and view our draft board. Some good players available. J.D. Keltner is the number one guy I'm thinking about, man. He just looks like best player available. We already have a pretty good team. Orlando Beachum is here as well. Doesn't seem to be quite as fun to me. Down the board, Josh McQueen. Yeah, it'd be good depth, but don't really want it. Max Olson would be the one if I'm taking an offensive lineman for depth, but probably not going to do that. I mean, it's got to be that safety. It just has to be. It's the best player available. I was hoping he was going to be available. And I think we're going to draft a good one here. Who's the other receiver we looked at? Raphael Wilkinson. Might end up moving up for him or something. But this is going to be J.D. Keltner. Just the best player available. Looks to be really fun. And we get to potentially team him up with his teammate at UCLA in B.J. Dickerson. And if you remember, it was a disaster in coverage for Brian Davis when Derek Davidson was injured. And Derek Davidson missed the entire first half of the regular season last year. And Brian Davis cost us big time. J.D. Keltner, hopefully, will not. Very different type of a player. And he's a 75 overall. Ranked number 17 in the class. Took him at 51. He does have star or better development. And he looks a whole heck of a lot like Alex Soto. I will mention that. He has 91 speed, 78 zone coverage, really high coming out, 71 tackle, 83 pursuit, 88 acceleration. Block shedding is not so bad for a safety. 67 man coverage is a bit lower than I was expecting or would have wanted. And 77 hit power is not too bad. So is he the slot corner that I was drafting for? I don't know. 91 speed at 4.4 flat 40 time is a bit low to me. But he's definitely going to compete for playing time. Not sure where yet, though. Not sure where yet. And we don't pick again for a while. Where is Wilkinson here? $44 spots away. Seattle takes Pierre Ramsey. There goes Orlando Beachum. 75 overall safety out of Michigan State. Really good pick at the back end of the second round here. And there goes Niles Sheldon, only the second quarterback off the board here. And is there a controversy in Jacksonville? There probably isn't, but Niles Sheldon is good. I mean, we looked at him, we saw him, and he's a decently high-rated quarterback. It's not very often you see, mid to high 70s QBs. He is pretty good. And maybe if Penn State had this guy, they'd be looking at a college football playoff right now instead of where they are, which is losing to Michigan at home. Not that Michigan's bad. Michigan's real good. But Niles Sheldon is also very, very good. And, probably not going to the best. You know what is absolutely the worst? And I hate this, guys. When a team holds on to a quarterback or brings one in that they don't necessarily even need, and then they just ride away on the bench. Man, do I hate that. Miami with another second-round pick. This is ours. We own this, but we gave it to them. It's Delonte Whitfield, a 68 overall tight end. There's Javon Chaney, 67 overall corner out of Minnesota. Kevin Sands, 71 overall right end out of Mizzou. There goes Mitch Hitchens, Another Penn State player. We'll take a look at him. He's decent. He's not the worst. He's not the best. He's a 72 overall. And it is pretty good value here at the back end of the second round. He's okay. He's an okay player. And I think he'll compete for playing time. We know the way San Francisco can develop linebacker talent. Look at Fred Warner, who's already a crazy athlete coming out of BYU, but look at Fred Warner. Look at Azeez Al-Shire. Look at Trey Greenlaw. Now maybe Mitch Hitchens. Cincinnati goes with Larry Meadows out of Oregon. Josh McQueen is a 72 overall out of Louisville. Browns take Kevin Sherman out of Michigan. Cowboys with DeMarcus Sanders, trying to hit on another DeMarcus potential pass rusher. And the last pick of the second round is Anthony Mitchell, a receiver out of Michigan State, and we're into the third round. There goes Max Olson. He is good. 75 overall. Center out of Oregon. Panthers go with Jeff Waters. Not too bad either. 74 overall, safety out of Wisconsin. And the Bears. Will they take another Mississippi State player? They don't. They go Jason Godfrey out of Michigan State. Not too bad. That's good value. I think we're gonna look at this. Who is this? The Panthers? We're gonna look at this. What would it cost to move up? Probably not a whole lot. It's gonna have to include the fifth, probably. Oh man, we might have to give up a future pick too. Yeah, okay. This is gonna get it done though. It's gonna be round 3 and round 6 pick in 2024 this year, and a 4th next year to move up 20 spots to 68. And I just think it's the right move. We lost Quintez Cephas. I don't really believe too much in Amon-Ra St. Brown. We need more talent at receiver. Even with Richie Owens, this is a different type of receiver. 4.52 speed, but good top skills. He's 6'3", good short route running, catching traffic, spectacular catch. I like him as a player, and he's a 76 overall. That might be the steal of the draft. 76 overall, hidden development. Who expected that at this pick? Who expected that? He's 22 years old, and we do have some Auburn teammates for him, like, you know, Richard Russell. That's it. He's got 90 speed, 94 acceleration, 81 catching, 84 catching traffic, 83 short route running, 81 medium, 75 deep with 82 spectacular catch, 80 release, 87 agility, and 93 jumping. We got a bit of a player here. 89 change of direction. He's not slow. He's quick. Good break tackle as well. Oh, we got a player here. We got a player here in Rafael Wilkinson. Trucking is low. But the rest is good. This might be the steal of the draft. This might be the steal of the draft right here. Top 15 player at 68. That is a pretty big addition. Where's the value? JP Harris is someone I looked at, man. This could be the power back that Solomon Clifford never was. I didn't feel like drafting a center. I think we're fine on offensive line. I mean, if you guys, I know there was some want for me trading up and getting that center. We got a bunch of backup offensive linemen in free agency. That was the focus of free agency. Juan Shelby. Like a better athlete there. Josh White, it would be solid. We don't have a lot of inside linebacker depth. That's the big issue right now. We don't have a lot of depth. No. I mean, it's not awful for the pick spot. Dylan Freeman, slow. And that's pretty much it. So the only other player that I really want then is probably J.P. Harris. We could make a move up. When is he supposed to go? We don't pick again until the 5th round. 19 spots away. We don't know anything about him other than he's big. 6 foot 233 with sub 4.5 speed. It would really be taking a shot. Is it worth it to take a shot? Vince Christie's pretty good value. There goes J.P. Harris. All right. Would have waited a couple more spots. He looks good. 74 overall. Out of Michigan State. J.P. Harris. Yeah, I mean, he realistically probably wouldn't have played very much. I don't know if Solomon Clifford got a carry last season. But it would have been nice to have. In round 5 now. We have nothing left on the draft board. Our only hope is that we can get lucky. Okay, who's the best player here? Jermaine Bryan, maybe? He doesn't look awful. He doesn't look awful. He doesn't look good, by the way, but he doesn't look awful. 4th round guy, it'd be good value. Got B+ pursuit, C+ finesse moves, 68 overall. It's good value, but he's not great. Pretty good speed, actually. Better than I thought. 71 finesse moves. That really isn't too bad. I'm not saying this is some great pick, obviously, right? But it really isn't too bad. 85 speed, 71 finesse moves. For perspective, he is -3 speed to Eric Hudson and +4 finesse moves. That's not the worst. At 6'5", 247. And our last pick here in the 7th round. Man, we just don't know anything about anybody. I don't know. What are we even looking for here? I mean, I don't know. We're not going to know about any of these guys. I'm looking for a high combine grade if we can get one. 7 flat. You know, let's take him. Sherrod Goodson out of Wisconsin. 62 overall. Yeah, he's bad. 87 speed, 90 acceleration, 82 trucking. Let's just change the direction. 74. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. But that is the draft here in 2024 now. And we did quite well. 77, 75, and a 76. Tyrone Wilbur is going to compete for a starting spot right away, obviously. And these, again, like I always do with the offseason, player faces, numbers, equipment, all of that gets changed, so don't worry about that. Oh, by the way, Tyrone Wilbur just got a ton of traits. They were not showing up when we drafted him, but they're here now. I guess it probably doesn't show before draft. He has swim move. He has strip ball, which is really interesting. He's predictable. I think that's for contract negotiations. His conservative play ball tendency means he's probably not going to get a ton of picks. But I'm very happy with that pick overall, I think, obviously. J.D. Keltner, who will not be wearing number 4, has high motor, aggressive play ball. 69 catching is pretty good. Pretty nice, you might even say. High motor is always nice. Does Wilbur have high motor or no? He doesn't. Damn. And then Rafael Wilkinson. This is going to be big because he's a receiver. Route running's down, but catching and catching traffic, or catching and catching traffic. Why can I not say that? Catching in traffic is up. He has aggressive catch, run after catch, fights for yards, and he's a team player. My favorite. I'm in. I'm in on Raphael Wilkinson. That might be my favorite draft pick. Really like that. Jermaine Bryan has... Ooh. He's got swim move. High motor. Now, swim move... So what that is in traits, there is... utilizes power moves and utilizes finesse moves. He has utilized finesse moves on. That's what swim move is. I know it seems like I'm just hyping up some random player. He seems good to me. I think some people are going to see that. But with 85 speed, pursuit's good. Finesse moves is really not bad for a rookie. I like Jermaine Bryan. I really do. I really do. He's a little bit old for a rookie, but he's 6'5", 250. And then Sherrod Goodson is probably not going to make the team. He's probably not going to make the team. See the NFL here. Tyrell Hazleton was the number 1 overall player in the draft. Did have star or better development. 96 speed. Jeez. 84 man. 76 zone is really not bad either. What is his dev trait? Number 1 overall player in the class, keep in mind. He has superstar dev. Waddle only has normal, by the way. This is someone that I would have really liked to get. Oh, he's so well-rounded. This is one of those guys where you don't care. You just don't care. Look how high hit power, tackling, speed, acceleration, and then power and finesse moves, and he has 80 block shed. This is a really good player. A really good player. Tim Bentley does have star or better dev. I mean, the Bears don't need him. He's got star dev. Who else do we want to see? David Moss, because I thought about David Moss. But honestly, I'm happy with the way things worked out. Because we could have got David Moss at number 10. Or Raphael Wilkinson at number 68. And I'm going to say this. I think we got a better player. Now, David Moss, because he's a higher draft pick, might have a higher development trait. That could happen. He's only got star. I'm happy. I'm happy with our pick. What else? Cam Beckham we thought about. Only normal dev. Does have 97 speed, though. Oh, my goodness. You don't care at that point. Because you have, Tyreek Hill potential. Eric Stokes. Does have hidden. See, that's really not bad, man. 84 speed, 81 finesse moves. He has swim move, spin move, bull rush. So he has really good pass rushing traits. That's power moves and finesse moves. I'm gonna be really upset if he's got superstar or superstar X Factor. It's only star. I can live. I can live. But that's still good. I would have been happy with that pick. I really would have been happy with that. Who else do we want to look at? Duke Dahlman for sure. Does have hidden dev. 92 speed, 95 acceleration. He's just really well-rounded. He doesn't really do anything amazing. Like tackling, zone coverage, man coverage, play rec, hit power, pursuit. They're all like the same, right? He's a solid player. Carlos Amos was a much higher overall than I thought. He can't cover. He's a run support safety, that's for sure. Tyler Beckham does have hidden. This was, what, first running back off the board? Only 89 speed. Also, you know what's interesting? He's got aggressive and possession catch. And his personality is intense. Ooh. You're hard. Superstar dev for him, too. Wow. Interesting player. Clyde Baggs. Normal dev. I want that to be known. The player that, you know, a decent bit of the chat wanted to trade up for, normal dev. However, he does have 89 freaking power moves. That is nuts. Would have been happy with it. Block shedding is real low. But 89 power moves. Out of the draft. Straight out of the draft. It's 89 minus 1 to 88 because of morale, but 89. Damn, he's pretty sick. Dwight Cook does have hidden. 94 speed. Not short route running is real low. Let's see here. Star. Star's good. But, like, it's not amazing, right? Sherrod Whitmore has hidden. He's a little slow. That literally is like DeAndre Swift. Taj Higgins, normal. See, I would much rather have him. And we have to face this guy. It's pretty good. Mike Hargrove has normal. So we definitely got a better player. And we said, like, he could do, or we were basically drafting the same player later in Rafael Wilkinson. Well, he's much better. Cam Sharpton, normal dev. Quentin Bramble. I mean, they were just really talented running backs here. Cortez Leslie. Ooh, he is hidden. See, he was a speed rusher type. But he only has 66 finesse moves. Maybe he is an off-ball linebacker. Can't check out J.D. Keltner, obviously. Orlando Beachum is normal. Niall Sheldon is hidden. He looked like he got a gut on him, huh? Star. All right, I think that's pretty much it. We wanted to check out the running back, too, that I missed out on, that I thought about trading up for. J.P. Harris has normal, but is he good? He's got 90 speed, 90 acceleration. His change of direction's not great, but he's got 90 agility, 79 trucking, crazy good carrying. This might be a player I trade for in camp. I mean, kind of like a... who was it? It was the Raiders drafting Kentucky do-it-all player. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Miami got him. I have his face in my mind. He's got neck tats. Why am I blanking on his name? I'm so upset. Why can I not come up with his name? Lynn Bowden. That's it. Lynn Bowden Jr. Not on them anymore? Yeah, the whole chat's helping me out now, too. Yeah, Lynn Bowden Jr. I don't know why I blanked on that. I want that player, though. We're going to make that happen. We'll give him a straight swap. Fresh start. Throwing a 5 and a 6. All right, that's it. Solomon Clifford. A 5th and a 6th for J.P. Harris. They're very similar overalls. He's also young as well. Both valued about the same. It's just a player that I wanted, pretty much, with J.P. Harris. And, yeah, I'm kind of calling it the Lynn Bowden Jr. type deal. But, you know, real happy with that. Player I wanted. All right, well, this is going to be the new look team, guys. I'm going to tell you, Rafael Wilkinson, who's playing up already, he's going to compete to start right away. Do I like him more than Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyrone Williams? Yes. I do. Do I like him more than Richie Owens? I think they're different types of receivers. I think they're different players. Okay, to be fair, though, they do look kind of similar in some ways. It's just Wilkinson's a bit slower. Maybe a bit better of a route runner overall and does have spectacular catch and release capabilities. Is that the difference? Yeah. Also, everyone in the chat saying use dev reveal. What do you mean by that? Also, we got to change Tyrone Wilbur so he doesn't look like he's freaking 5'6" in the picture next to Braxton Turner, who's 6'2", but Tyrone Wilbur is 6'3". He will also, yeah, as I said, not wear 34. So I know about the revealing coach trait. I have 25 staff points. So I can't even come close to affording it. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to have to wait. So I think that's going to do it on the offseason. Man, that was a ton of fun. We got some really, really good players. And I think with the guys in stream, so you guys can't blame me. I'm going to work with the guys in the stream on new player likeness and equipment and number and things like that. So if you don't like it, it's not on me. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this offseason. Hope you continue to enjoy Lions franchise. As Jamie Aldridge will start at right tackle. It will not be Charles Leno, don't worry. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.
I hit it at the park, Ben Bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah. Promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah. Papa turn taking it back to the house. Defensive joke, I'm laughing so loud. Speed burst good.